Hello everyone, welcome to my channel SW Metro official channel.
Kody Brown convinced his then 4 wives, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin, to pool their resources into buying the sprawling parcel of land in Flagstaff, Arizona, a move he billed as the family's future promised land but which instead became a symbol of division, resentment, and betrayal, and as the teaser reveals, that long-standing tension over land ownership, responsibility, and betrayal seems to boil over into what producers are calling the final showdown, where issues of money, loyalty, and family unity collide in ways that fans have been waiting for since the early seasons when Kody sold the dream of polygamous togetherness as a fairy tale of choice and love, but now, season 20, if the footage is to be believed, positions itself as a reckoning, with Kody, now legally married only to Robin after the departures of Christine, Janelle, and Mary, standing in the ruins of his own dream, and the other wives, ex-wives now, finally speaking their truth in ways that cut deep, forcing Kody to either own up to years of manipulation and favoritism or continue the cycle of blame and gaslighting that has defined him in the eyes of many critics. Yet what really shocks longtime followers is the moment in the teaser where Kody is seen sitting across from Janelle, his arms folded tightly, his hair disheveled, his face red with frustration, and she looks him dead in the eye and says, "You promised me fairness, Kody, and you gave me scraps," words that sum up years of fan complaints that Kody treated his marriages unequally, privileging Robin at the expense of his other wives, and it seems that this confrontation may finally force Kody to say the one word he rarely utters, sorry, but whether the apology is genuine or performative remains to be seen, because another key clip shows Christine, now happily remarried to David Woolley, smiling faintly as she admits that she doesn't need Kody's apology to heal but wants him to say it for the sake of their children. Particularly Truly, who has grown up in the shadow of her parents' fractured relationship, and fans immediately took to social media to dissect this, arguing that Christine's ability to move forward without Kody is what separates her from the others, but also that her push for apologies suggests she is still deeply protective of her children's emotional well-being, while Mary, whose own storyline has long been tied to her struggle for validation, appears in the teaser holding back tears as she states that an apology won't fix the past, but it might prove I mattered to him once, a heartbreaking admission that could indicate viewers will finally see closure between the couple whose relationship soured after the infamous catfishing scandal and years of neglect from Kody, who once admitted on national television that he no longer considered himself married to her. And what makes this teaser feel different from past hype is not only the rawness of the emotion but also the way producers seem to frame the land as the ultimate metaphor, the last tie binding the Browns together, because despite the divorces, breakups, and broken dreams, Coyote Pass has remained unfinished, undeveloped, and unsold, a haunting reminder of what could have been, and now, with rumors swirling that the land might finally be sold after being on the market for months. The teaser suggests that the season 20 finale could end with the Browns permanently dissolving their joint financial ties, and in reality, television, few storylines offer this kind of poetic symmetry. The land that brought them to Flagstaff could also be the thing that ends them as a family unit forever, and fans are speculating that the teaser's talk of a final land showdown means not just financial division but also emotional closure, where old grievances are aired one last time. But the possibility of apologies raises the stakes, because audiences know how rare it is for Kody to back down, admit fault, or extend grace, with the few times he has ever admitted wrongdoing usually overshadowed by defensiveness or immediate blame shifting, and yet, the teaser shows him in an uncharacteristically quiet moment, his voice low, his head lowered, as he says, "Maybe I was wrong," a line that could be the biggest emotional bombshell the show has ever dropped if it proves to be directed toward Mary, Janelle, or even his children. Because for years Kody has been painted as the antagonist in the eyes of many viewers, the man who abandoned emotional equity for romantic obsession with Robin, and while his defenders argue that the show edits him harshly, the narrative has always leaned into his flaws, and if season 20 is his chance at redemption, then the inclusion of long-awaited apologies may indicate TLC's attempt to reframe Kody as a flawed man seeking forgiveness rather than a tyrant clinging to control, though whether fans will accept that remains doubtful, given the backlash in recent years, particularly after Garrison's tragic passing, when many blamed Kody's estrangement from his children as a contributing factor, a narrative that continues to follow him, and so, The Season 20 teaser sets the stage for a finale not just of land but of legacy, because how the Browns handle Coyote Pass, their apologies, and their final interactions with one another will shape how audiences remember the series after more than a decade on air. And even though reality television thrives on drama, closure, and cliffhangers, the idea that the Browns may actually resolve something, through apologies, through selling the land, through drawing permanent boundaries, feels like the kind of ending that fans have both dreaded and desired, because while many love the dysfunction and spectacle, others have long wanted to see the wives freed from Cody's influence and Cody himself forced to reckon with the wreckage of his choices. And so, if the teaser is any indication, Season 20 is not simply another installment in the ongoing saga but the beginning of the end, a season where apologies may finally be spoken, where the land may finally be divided or sold, and where the Browns may finally, after years of avoidance, confront the truth of what they have become, not a united family but individuals seeking closure, healing, and perhaps forgiveness. And in that sense, the explosive nature of this teaser lies not just in shouting matches or tears but in the possibility of rare honesty, making Season 21 of the most anticipated in the history of Sister Wives, the one that could finally give fans the payoff they'd been waiting for since the cameras first followed the Browns into polygamous bliss back in Utah. Because now, in Flagstaff, amid the weeds of Coyote Pass, we may finally see not the dream of Sister Wives but the reality of what it costs when that dream collapses. The air in the sprawling, often fractured world of the Brown family is crackling with a potent mixture of unresolved anger, bitter resentment, and the faint, almost unbelievable scent of long-awaited amends. The explosive teaser for Sister Wives Season 20 doesn't just hint at drama, it promises a seismic conclusion to years of built-up tension, centering on two colossal storylines that have come to define the family's collapse: the final, agonizing showdown over the barren plains of Coyote Pass and the potential for apologies that have been years, if not decades, in the making. This season is poised to be the cathartic climax fans have been waiting for, the painful yet necessary excavation of a plural family dream that has officially curdled into a monument of regret and financial entanglements. For years, Coyote Pass has been more than just a plot of land, it has been the physical manifestation of Cody Brown's crumbling patriarchal vision. Purchased with grand pronouncements of building a unified family compound, one big, happy PLYG palace for his 4 wives and brood of children, it instead became a symbol of stagnation, favoritism, and profound disunity. The teaser thrusts this unresolved burden back into the spotlight, and the tension is palpably toxic. We see shots of the vast, empty acreage, its untouched dirt mocking the blueprints that were once so enthusiastically unrolled. The central conflict is no longer about if they will build, but rather the vicious, logistical nightmare of how they will divide an asset that is emotionally charged and financially uneven. The teaser hints at heated meetings, with Janelle, the wife most emotionally and financially invested in the property, finally reaching her breaking point. Her dream of a modest home and a garden on her lot is now directly at odds with the need to liquidate and sever ties. Mary, emotionally detached but financially entangled, seems to be taking a pragmatic, if weary, stance, while Robin, who already resides in her million-dollar mansion, is portrayed as anxious, perhaps protective of her family's share of the assets. And then there is Cody, the self-proclaimed patriarch and architect of this entire mess, who appears more frustrated and angry than visionary, his authority completely neutered as the women in his life are no longer pleading for his attention but demanding a resolution. This land showdown is the final, ugly divorce proceeding of the spiritual marriage, a battle over the scraps of a failed dream where every surveyor's stake feels like a stake through the heart of the family they once were. Yet, as explosive as the property battle promises to be, it is the teaser's hints at emotional reckoning that truly send shockwaves through the fandom. The most jaw-dropping moments are those that allude to the long-awaited, never-thought-we'd-see apologies. The most significant of these is Cody's apparent admission of fault and plea for forgiveness directed at Janelle. After seasons of watching him neglect, dismiss, and emotionally abandon Janelle and her children, particularly during Savannah's lonely Christmas, the sight of him seemingly contrite is staggering. The teaser crafts a narrative that this apology, however messy and overdue, is the key to unlocking the property stalemate. It suggests that Janelle, the rock of pragmatic strength, is withholding her cooperation not just out of financial prudence,